This is another new what if because I keep on popping these out of my head for some reason. But like this one's a new one about something different because I realized something about me. I've done a lot of strong male protagonists. I'm popping them out like crazy. It's incredible. But we need a female. We need one female protagonist. Now, we might be changing her gender into a she, from a he to a she. But fuck it. We don't make it. We make it perfect. So this what if is making. This what if is about. What if the Joker wasn't a villain? Uh, so what is going to happen is number one, the change of the Joker obviously is that the Joker is now she. He's now a female. And the backstory is different. Uh, what she did, what Joker did, or aka Angelina, Angelina Markison did, was she was born out in the countryside of, where should I put her? Wyoming, Nebraska, Washington. Let's say Washington. Random Washington. Out in the countryside of Washington, not DC, like the state. I know it gets confusing. With her 5 brothers, all of them going into different parts. Basically, they're always going to be a farming family. So some of them went into the military, some of them went into construction, one still stayed in farming and all that stuff. She did something different. She went into therapy, or technically therapy for crazy people, insane asylum therapy, aka trying to keep them, trying to rearrange them to normal society. So she, at the young ages of 21, moved from her family's home to Gotham, where she started her new life. Starting going into Arkham Asylum to work. Now, she started working in Arkham Asylum. It is a lot different than it was now. There's a lot of whack jobs, a lot of crazy people, but not like Dr. Freeze or like Bane or some people like that. It is full of crazy people, but they're like normal people. And she's worked there for years now. This is the early years of Gotham, so this is when the Mafia basically run the city. Started to change a couple of things. So, with the Mafia running the city, they want to get paid more. So, like construction job. So what they would do is, they want to get paid more, and they also don't want their boys to go in prison. So what they would do is they would, well, not technically. Okay, sorry. Let me change that. But what been going on was for a long period of time, bribery with city officials. So what they would do is, judges would say, just randomly, not all the time, but judges would say, if it was an act of insanity, and the paid off judge would be like, oh, of course it was an act of insanity. Of course it was an act of insanity. And the paid off people would say, yeah, it's an act of insanity. You should go into a sand asylum. And then go into a sand asylum with a paid off therapist or person. And then after that, be released out, free of charge, and then go back to his life of crime. You gotta remember this. This is early years of Gotham. Batman doesn't exist yet. So they were allowed to do this because the police were paid off. Governors were paid off. Everyone was paid off. Everyone just saw it happen and just let it go by. But a young lady at the time who started hearing rumors. Okay, so I shouldn't say there's not a Batman. There's still a Batman, but he's not like known to the world. He is basically rumor or hearsay most of the time. But she started hearing rumors about the Batman, kicking down crime and feeling prideful about her city and trying to do the right thing. Tries to call out these people, calls the police and say, I think there's corruption into the cities. We're going that the police, obviously being paid off, doesn't want. They're living high lives. Their families, highly living, very, very nice. So they do not want this to end. They don't want their payday to end. So they said, oh, okay, meet me at this street at this time, and we'll talk about this. So this is where the Joker gets her backstory. She meets him there. Officer Jackson Blake. This is Officer Jackson. I think there's some obvious corruptions. Like, oh, of course there is. As he pulls out a 6-shooter, puts it into her face, and says, "Walk." As she puts her hands up, and she's like, "What?" He's like, "Walk up the stairs." This is as she starts walking up the stairs, like the gun to her at the back of her head. This place was an old chemical factory back in the day of old. We now use it to dump bodies, so we don't have to clean them up. As the Dark Knight, Batman comes down, grabs the gun, starts fighting with the guy. Fire trigger happens, making one of the lights go down, smashing into it. Electrocution starts bouncing everywhere. The female at the time, who was female Joker, or I'm just gonna call it Joker, starts freaking out as she leans back too much. And this railway has not been fixed. It's very rotten, and she falls. Batman tries to save her, grab her, but she falls into the acid. And Batman, putting a mask on and putting basically his trying to keep her alive, jumps into the acid, grabs her out and pulls her out of the acid, keeping her alive. But her entire face is disfigured into a massive smiley grin with a pale face, and all of her muscle tissue and bone density is now double what it normally was, and now her pain sensitivity is shot. Like, she can't feel pain anymore. Now, after that, what does Batman do? His first option is just leave him there. But realizing that she is a target to the mafia, that he can't. It's going to be, she's going to die. And without any second thought, go to the hospital. But honestly, he does not believe the hospitals could treat a woman with this. These are chemical burns, and she is white-faced, she is pale, and he thinks she's just dead. So what he did was he took him back to the Batcave. She could be looked at and scanned and everything like that. And She was still alive at that time. We gotta remember this. But after all of that, she like finally like woke up and got normalized to know that she is now with the Batman. Like the rumor that all these like people were talking about this scary creature in the dark is real. Like she never thought it would be real, but it's real. But like her body, even though like her pain receptors are off, she still has like shadow pain of it. Like her pain receptors in her like all of her brain doesn't like she hits something, she doesn't feel it. But because that her brain still thinks she's in acid, she her body reacts like she's in acid. She starts freaking out, convulsing a little bit. As Batman keeps her stable with the equipment in the room, as also Alfred starts the process of trying to get her back to life, because it's paralyzing injuries, because like you gotta understand, like she basically took a step away from death. If she stayed in there for any longer, she was basically going to probably die, because her body just couldn't handle it. Her body of that acid would not technically burn her, but just like, well, burn her, but from the inside out. She would be toasted. She'd be a cooked toast. So right now, she's basically getting taken care of by Alfred and Bruce, and in the Batman suit, and is stated that she doesn't leave the Batcave, mostly because like Batman is trying to keep her trying to keep her like used to this place a little bit. Mostly because she's gonna stay here for a while. She's gonna have to stay here for a while, mostly because like her body is completely disfigured. So Batman's like, I'll find a cure for you, but you're gonna have to stay here for a long time. And she's like, I'm ready for that. I'm ready to stay here for a decent while if I have to. She slowly gets used to it. You gotta remember, there's no mirrors in the back. So she doesn't know what she looks like. She just like she thinks she looks like her normal self. As she slowly gets used to this place, and Batman slowly gets used to her, she starts running like missions. Like she's like, oh, scan this sample. Oh, I need to see this video back. Okay, blah blah blah, and they start putting a code name for her. Batman was the first person. They started doing code names like, oh, the hacker, blah blah blah, and Batman's the first person to say the Joker, and it kind of just stuck. Like she doesn't know why, but it just stuck, and now her nickname, and it's not really a nickname anymore. It's just a name. It's just like Batman. She doesn't know who Bruce. She doesn't know about Bruce Wayne. She doesn't know about like Batman is Bruce Wayne yet. All she knows is Batman cave. And she's been there for at least 2 months now, just like getting recovered and getting back to full health, and working on missions with Bruce and everyone like Alfred, until she finally figures out who Bruce is. It's Batman. It was an accident altogether. She was starving. She was 4 o'clock in the morning. She was researching stuff to see if she could cure her stuff, and she went up the little elevator that went to the manor. I accidentally guessed the password. Didn't see Bruce clicking in 1,000 times, and realized this is Bruce Wayne's house. And Bruce said, "What are you doing?" And finally realized that Bruce E. Wayne, is the Dark Knight. And after a while, she kind of like how did the fuck did no one figure this shit out? It's like I keep my secret hidden. It's like, you gotta think about this. How many people are rich billionaires who have amazing bots and is 6'3". It makes so much more sense now. But like she takes it with like so much ease. Like she kind of just steps into it. Like she's already in like the hero life. She kind of just steps into it. Like she doesn't really like it doesn't really phase her. And Bruce likes that. Like Bruce starts like noticing that. Like he doesn't phase her. And then that's when she comes up to the manor more often. Like now Bruce had like a room for her in the cave, but now Bruce has a room for her upstairs. And this is the first time Joker sees her face and sees this figure, that smile, the white face, the green eyes. That she wasn't green. Her eyes were not green before. Her hair completely dyed green, cannot even be painted back to her natural color of black. And she's fine with it. She's fine with her look, but she's like, she has to smash the mirror with her punch because it reminds her of that experience so much that she has to get it over with. She has to still be in control. And Bruce comforts her for the way of the process. And when Bruce finally gets like used to her a lot, it's just been like 3 months of them staying together, and she's already just part of the family. She connects to it so well, and she kind of, with Alfred, he doesn't want her to leave, because what Joker does with Bruce is like Alfred can put limits on Bruce, but sometimes Bruce won't listen. But the Joker, she can put limits on Bruce, and he will always listen, or always think about it a little bit more. And with Bruce, like, it's weird. Like, she says, "Don't do this." Bruce says, "Okay, I won't." Even if Bruce doesn't do it, like, she's still watching him. And if he does, he fucking, gets him in that corner, and he says, "You got to think about this stuff. How does it affect me and Alfred? You got to think about." He makes Bruce not just like, "Oh, this is the mission, I gotta do the mission, blah, blah, blah." He thinks about his family now a lot more. He thinks about, like, if I go out there and I fuck up, because he's young, he's just starting now. So he's still in that young stages. Like, if I fuck up, lives are on the line. People are on the line. And if I fuck up hard enough, my friends might die, my family might die, and my loved ones might die. So he starts getting a lot more serious now. And then that's when it gets to the point where Joker starts learning combat skills with Bruce. Bruce starts teaching Joker how to fight, because like she knows how to throw a punch. She has older brothers, but like she's learning like from Bruce Wayne, who is accorded to know every single martial art ever accorded in ever history. And that's when it gets like starts learning for a year. 2 years, 3 years go by of her staying in the cave, learning with Bruce, doing all these things. And then finally enough, Bruce has to admit to himself that he starts to like the Joker. Starting to like her a lot, and trying to add her to her family. And then finally, maybe once or twice, drop some hints. And the Joker just says, are you going to fuck me, or are you just going to stand here? As Bruce says, well, both the options are perfectly fine. But, I think the first option is better. He's like, I think the first option is better too. Let's do that. And they finally do it. They don't, like, when they finally do it, it's around 2 years in when Joker comes in. It's not 3 or 4 yet, but, like, it's starting to get 2. Like, Bruce is starting to get better at being communicated, and the Joker is one of the best persons for him. And Bruce loves the Joker now. He's one of his favorite people. So this is where we're gonna end it off. Hope you guys liked the video. Ready? Ready, so go. I'm gonna end it off here. Goodbye.